This is your holy grail. Like, this brush will do all of that. Once again, witchery. It's magical. Okay. Ooh, yes. We have the Soniaji Sky Eye Set. This is a review demo and comparisons to popular brushes that are currently on the market. I suggest you keep watching.
From the top, drop that, yeah, feel the funk, y'all, yeah, and lay back in the cut. What's up, what's up?
Hello my doves, what's up, welcome back to Afrodite by Olympia. If you're new here, my name's Olympia and I do videos here on YouTube about beauty and makeup available in Australia for deeper skin tones. Today's video, I'm finally doing it. I'm sitting down, I'm going to go over the Soniaji Sky Eye Set, which is currently available at Beautylish at the time I'm filming. Who knows if it will still be available when this video goes up, because this shit sells out fast, like hella fast. But I'm going to do a review of these 5 brushes from the Sky Eye Set, some comparisons to other brushes like from Morphe, from Luxie, from Zoeva, what else, Sephora, Fenty. I'm going to show you some brushes that you might have in your current collection and how they, not compare, but in terms of brush shape, how they compare to this set. And I'll also throw in some demos of these brushes in use for y'all on this look. Yes. It's going to be a very interesting video, guys, so let's get into it right now. Actually, that's a lie. Before we get into it, go ahead and subscribe if you want to. You don't have to, but if you want to, subscribe down below. Okay, now we can get into it. Okay, guys. Okay, so I'm obsessed. Okay, I am obsessed. I'm obsessed with these brushes. These brushes I've been using them for 2 months now. And I'm telling you, like, I'm gonna fight you on this. Square up. I will fight you on this. These brushes change your game. They improve the way you do makeup. It makes you think about how you apply makeup so much more, because you take in consideration the bristle length, the bristle shape, the density, whether it's for cream, whether it's for powder. Like, instead of having like just a cheap run-of-the-mill brush, when you get these expensive brushes, the one thing that I've kind of taken from this, like that I've improved on since using these brushes, is really understanding what brush shape and type does what, and what's the best for the job. Because let me tell you something, these are the best. Okay, so let's get into who Soniaji is first. The amazing designer of these brushes. Soniaji, she has a blog. It's called sweetmakeup.temptations.com. It is on the interwebs. And she basically is a blogger and a I think it's food, is what they call Japanese, the art of Japanese makeup brushes. Love her. She loves makeup brushes, Japanese makeup brushes, high-end brushes, and there are so many like blog articles about her brushes, her ideas behind why she decided to design the brushes, that she's got a whole range of brushes. How many times am I going to say brushes in this video? Have a drink every single time I say brushes. Okay, that's what we're gonna do. So she absolutely loves Japanese brushes, and she has such an interesting mind and outlook in terms of why she started her company and like why she decided to design Japanese brushes. Initially, when she first started, it was to basically fill the gaps in what was already out there, herself being quite an expert and an entrepreneur, and what's the word? enthusiast of Japanese makeup brushes and having used them for many, many years, she could see visually and artistically where the gaps were and decided to create some Japanese brushes that to fill those gaps. And then her company has blossomed from there. The one thing I will say about Soniaji is I think she's beautiful. Like, I think she's such a nice, like a genuinely nice person. Like, I've scoured, like, I think I've watched every single Soniaji review video on YouTube. Like, before I bought these brushes, when I was waiting for them to arrive, and then after I had bought them, because I bought some more. Like, I kid you not, I think I've watched all of them. And this lady, she's like commented on like all of them, like almost all of them. She's gone in and has taken the time to comment and say thank you for the reviews on YouTube. Like, I think that's amazing, and honestly that is something that I would do. Like, I would, if I had a company and people were doing reviews, I would feel the need and the gratitude to go and say thank you to like all of the videos. But seriously, like, hats off. I think that's amazing. I mean that's just a snippet of who Soniaji as a person is, the fact that she's taken the time to do that, and she always replies or tries to reply on her Instagram, and I think it's amazing. Okay, I've talked about Soniaji enough. Let's get into these brushes. Before we get into demoing these, talking about these brushes, I just want to quickly say that there's a huge difference between natural hair brushes and synthetic hair brushes. The number one bit difference, especially when it comes to food, I think it's called food or food, or Japanese brushes, is that they're hand bundled. It can take up to 20 plus artisans in Japan to hand bundle and create these brushes one by one. And the way that they bundle it is that they actually leave the hairs intact. So the hairs aren't cut to shape, they are placed to shape. Whereas synthetic brushes are laser cut to create the shape. What this means for natural hair bristles, in my understanding and from what I've researched and watched on YouTube, is that you get a hair follicle that will have all its natural kind of grooves. It picks up product, your powders, a lot better, and it works. It's easier to work with hard pan or like gelée powder type, you know, those products that are really hard to pick up with synthetic brushes. The natural hair brushes tend to pick them up a lot better. It also means that the hair, like the movement, is different compared to synthetic brushes. Some brands do synthetic and natural hair blended together. Zoeva do that. They are not vegan. Some of the brushes are not vegan for that reason. They usually do a blend, which is why I think Zoeva brushes are so good for synthetic brushes at that price point, because they do have natural hairs within the brush, so they tend to work a lot better than other synthetic brushes that you might come across. Anyway, I digress. So up on the screen here, I'll just show you some images of what I mean by what is hand bundling versus what is laser cut. I think I'll put it on this side. This picture will really kind of help you grasp what that means. And I got this photo from the Hakuhodo website, where it discusses and they give you information about what Japanese brushes are and how they're made and things like that. That's where I got a lot of my information from. There's information parts within those websites. Okay, now we can move on to talking about these brushes. So we've got my favorite brush, as far as I'm concerned, is the Mini Booster. So the Mini Booster retails for $26 USD from beautylish.com.au. So according to Soniaji, the Mini Booster is a small but powerful crease brush. You can precisely blend and boost the intensity just where needed. It's a mini version of the Blender Pro, which I don't have yet, but I will. Yes, because I went to town. Anyway, also it's tightly bundled for increased control in a smaller areas. So all about control placement for blending. I love this brush because of the actual size. Actually, I'll just let you know that the brush hair is made out of brown Sakaho goat hair. So there's different goat hairs. I'll tell you which hairs as we go along. This is brown Sakaho goat hair all throughout. What did I use this for? I like to use this for like cut crease work, so placing pigment just along like really tight areas where you need to be as precise as possible. I love using it for the lower lash line. I'll of course be playing clips here for you guys so you can see what I'm talking about. But I use this brush quite a bit with blending shades together, like, you know, when you've got more than one color in the crease and you want to blend them together. This is an awesome brush for that. Just basically a whole heap of detailed work. I love this brush for. Yes, my favorite. Okay, so the reason why this is my favorite brush, you guys aren't going to be surprised with this, is because of the type of makeup that I do. So I like to do quite intricate like cut creases and halo eyes like this one. I like my eyeshadow to be impactful but still wearable, which means I'm constantly working with detail. So I actually have a lot of brushes that are similar to this, and this next section in the video when we talk about brush comparisons, I decided I was going to use I was going to compare it to brushes that you might already have in your collection. And I think this is going to help you for when you decide what you want to actually purchase, if it's your first purchase into Japanese brushes, like, you know, where do you start? Like the way I did it was literally just watched a whole bunch of videos and just ordered the set because everybody literally had the same reaction. Like they loved the Sky Eye set. Everybody loved it. So as soon as it was back in stock, I was like, boom, yep, in the cart, done. Like that's basically how I did it. But you might not want to do it that way. You might want a video like this one that kind of shows you examples of brush heads that are similar that you might have in your collection. Depending on how you like to do your makeup, maybe that brush will be adequate for you, or alternatively you want ones that fill gaps that you don't have. So these are the brushes I feel are the closest in my collection to the Mini Booster. So the first two I'm going to talk about is the Morphe M506 and M507. So M506 and M507. Next to the Mini Booster, as you can see, the brush heads are very, very similar. It has that kind of rounded but tapered top. 507 is a bit more tapered than the M506. But as you can see, the Soniaji Booster, Mini Booster is the most tapered out of that lot. And if you use these two brushes in your collection quite a bit, you will fall in love with the Mini Booster, no doubt. Like you will love it. Like if you love to do detailed cut creases and any kind of detailed blending, the Mini Booster is the one to go. Just an example. Another one that's very similar to the Mini Booster is the Zoeva 231 Luxe Petite Crease. So there's it there. Main difference is the Zoeva one's a little bit fatter, but generally I can do some targeted precision blending with both of these. Another brush you might have in your collection that's similar is the Sephora Pro Precision Crease number 17. Now this one is a little bit more flimsy. It's not as dense, and it's not gonna be as precise as the others that I've shown you. This one is more crease work as opposed to on the lid blending work, is what I'm trying to say. And then finally, to compare, you guys would have seen me use this brush like all the time, like all the time. This is the Luxie 231 small tapered blending brush. So this one flares out a bit more. It's not as tapered, but yeah, I like to do some targeted blending on the lid with the Luxie 231. Okay, so that is the mini blender. My favorite out of all of them. I have 4 of these that I do a lot of. That's the type of makeup that I do, so it makes sense. I like to be as deliberate as possible and as detailed as possible, so it's a good brush. Okay, the next favorite brush is the Flat Definer. She looks a little like this. Retails for $28 USD at beautylish.com.au. So the Flat Definer is a mini shader, smudger, and precision flat pencil brush. It's flat and thin, but has enough density to remain stable and achieve a neat and even application. It's firm with sufficient flexibility and softness at the tip to not pull or skip on skin, which is the truth. This brush here, let me tell you something. So this brush I use for like so much. I actually use it to like pack on color on the lid, like the shade. I use it quite precisely along the edges of the cut crease here. I use it to define the cut crease using like just the tip. I use it on the lower lash line as a push liner. So much, like so many things. It's so versatile. It's soft yet it's firm. It's so contradictory. A lot of Soniaji's brushes are contradictory. You're like, how does this like defy physics? I feel like all it does is defy physics. That's all it does. It's weird. It's sorcery is what it is. Okay? Sonia, this is sorcery. It is magical. It is magical. This brush, magical. I think this brush, okay, maybe and another brush are the most versatile in terms of how many things it can actually do. I mean, having said that, there are, you know, flat shader brushes that, you know, are around, but there aren't ones that have this level of firmness but softness. It's either too hard and it tugs on your skin, or it's too soft and it's basically useless. So I'm gonna just put it out there in terms of versatility and whatnot. So the 2 brushes that I find are the most similar that you might have in your collection is the Morphe M421. And only similar in shape, not function. Like, I wouldn't be able to see, it feels really hard to put this on like the lower lash line and kind of not thick enough for that. Whereas this one is just perfect. It's so soft, it glides so easy. It's just, you would have seen me apply it just on the lower lash line here and the outer corner, like, or even in the inner corner, just like so much detail work you can do with this thing. Like, it's invaluable. I have 4 of these as well because yeah, this one and the mini booster are my 2 most used Soniaji brushes, and I'm telling you, it's changed the game. It really, really has. Another brush that's similar that you might have in your collection is the Zoeva 237 Detailed Shader. And it's obviously a lot smaller than the Flat Definer. And definitely thinner. Way thinner. But if you like to do, like it implies, detailed shader work, this is obviously superior, but yes. Now, this is made out of brown Sokoho goat hair. So it's the same brush bristles as the mini booster. Same brush bristles. Okay, moving on to the next one. I'm literally doing this in order of like my favorite. So my most favorite to least favorite, but I love them all. So this one is the classic crease. Now, who doesn't love a classic crease brush? So the fact that it's called classic crease is like, yes, on point, because it's classic and it's a crease brush. Like, I mean, come on now. It's literally the epiphany of a crease brush. Nice long bristles, nice and domed. It's slightly tapered. I've seen more tapered ones, but I feel like this brush itself kind of marries the two worlds together. I have crease brushes that are flat topped, and I have ones that are domed. I feel like this is like the best of both worlds as far as I'm concerned. So this retails for $34 USD, and according to Sonia, she's obsessed with blending brushes and she loves for them to be full and strong. With the classic crease, she wanted to reduce just a bit of the density and increase the airiness so that you could work softer and gradually. She does have other crease brushes in her collection that are more dense. So the classic crease is a medium-sized crease / blending brush. It can be used to place the base color all over for crease placement, transitioning or blending. Compared to the Blender Pro, the classic crease is slightly less dense, has a bit more flexibility and airiness, but the bristles still retain their shape nicely for stable control with the surface of the brush. So my experience with the classic crease brush is that it feels like air on your face. Like, it just feels like nothing. It feels so good. So I like to use this, so you guys are going to see me demo this brush now. I like to use this brush to basically like blend, perfect in the crease area, but generally I like to do more like detail stuff in the crease. But this brush is so, like I said earlier, it's the best of both worlds in terms of being tapered and being quite blown out. This will get more blown out as I use it. That's the other thing with Soniaji brushes. They come kind of tightly bound, but as soon as you do your first wash, make sure you wash it first before you use it, and you'll see them bloom and open up, and that's the shape that they stay. They don't continue to go, you know, out. So mine have all been washed multiple times now, like 3 times. I've had them for 2 months or so. So I had the initial wash after a month, and then the second month. So about 3 washes is what I've done with these. But as I was saying, I like to use this to really kind of perfect my transition area as opposed to my crease area. And it's a beautiful brush. It's gorgeous. She's a gorgeous brush, guys. Some brushes in my collection that I feel are similar. I'll start with the one that I use the most in my crease, and that is the Marc Jacobs The Crease. So not a lot of people would have this brush in their collection, I know, but it's a popular one. It's always sold out at Sephora. And as I was saying earlier, I've got crease brushes that are more tapered and some that are more flat, which I'll show you in a moment. This one's a more tapered, but like tapered crease brush. That's the Crease Brush by Marc Jacobs. But as you can see, Soniaji's classic crease basically marries the two together. Like, it's not as tapered as the Marc Jacobs, but it's tapered enough to get a tapered effect, if that makes any sense. Another excellent comparison is the Colourpop E2 brush. This one's got a bit longer bristles, not as tapered as the Soniaji. This one's a bit more rounded. This is the Sigma Tapered Blending number E40. even though it's called tapered blending, I feel like this one's probably the closest in terms of shape to the Soniaji classic, but I still feel like the Soniaji one's more tapered than the Sigma one. And none of these brushes are as dense as Sonia's. And then finally, the last brush I'm going to compare to the classic Crease is the MAC 224S, S standing for synthetic. This one's more tapered than the Sonia and it's skinnier. There you go. So yes, that is the classic Crease. This next brush is a workhorse. Like, whew, child. This brush does so much, and realistically it should be higher in terms of like preference, because technically I use it more than the classic Crease, but I like how the classic Crease can perfect. This particular brush you can still perfect with it, you can still blend with it, and you guys will see that in just a moment. So what the brush I'm talking about is the soft shader. The soft shader is $35 US. It is made out of white Sakaho goat hair. So you know how we had brown ones? This one's white. You can use it with creams and liquids and whatnot. So the soft shader is a lay down brush. So lay down meaning that you use it to lay down color, like to pack on color. It can be used on the entire lid, the mobile lid, the outer V, or the bottom lash line. The shape is not square as the sides are slightly curved at the tip for more precision with placement, which is what I love the most about this brush. Is that tip is everything. That tip is everything. You guys will see when I'm creating this eye look. I mean, I'll just show you now. When I use this brush to create this eye look, and I wanted to go into the crease to create the shape, and how this brush was easy for me to like just pack on like a literal straight line. Like, how many brushes do you know can do that? Like, can pack on that much color, that pigmented, and that effective in a straight line, like a line. Like, you can see a line. I mean, and it's fluffy and it's soft. You can turn it on its side and you can blend out with it as well. So you can lay the color down and blend it out. You like turn it on the side and you can blend this way or this way. You can blend what you've just placed on the lid. You can use the very tip for the lower lash line. So versatile. Say it with me. We love a versatile queen. Have I not said that many times? Versatility. Yes. This brush, I'm telling you, this brush. So Sonia says she was aiming for a lay down brush that would have a nice flat surface to work with, that would be stable enough for use on the bottom lash line. And Sonia, you did that. This brush does exactly that. Okay, it does exactly that. You guys, you're gonna see, I'm gonna replay the demo again if I have to, but you guys can see here just how it's soft, but it's firm enough to deposit color on the lower lash line. I'm sorry. And with precision too. Not just the, just throwing everything. I'ma just, slap it on. No, like precise. I have 3 of these brushes. I'm just saying. Yes, Sonia, you did amazing. You did amazing, sweetie, with this brush. I'm telling you. I think like Sonia's gonna see this video. She's not gonna see this video. Anyway. So this brush is bundled with white Sakaho bristles. You can, for example, use one side to lay down creams and the other side to place a sparkle topper. Versatility. The base of the brush is thick and dense, and layers on each flat side start halfway, and the thickness decreases to allow more precision at the tip, but it's not floppy. You still will have enough strength to use the tip like a pencil or a smudger along the lash line, which y'all know. Y'all know, you just saw it. You saw me do it. You saw me do it. Don't say you didn't see me do it, because you saw me do it. This brush is like, honestly, it is so like not what I was expecting. This was like the white horse. Like it just came out of nowhere and just blew me away. I was like, what is this sorcery? Like what even, how is it so versatile like that? How did she do it? Like how did she actually do it? I don't think I have a brush in my collection that is half as versatile as this. Either does one or the other. It just doesn't do both. And if you try to do both with these other brushes, you're not gonna get as precise and as flawless an application as this one. I said it. So the two brushes that I have in my collection that I not even, listen, I was clutching at straws here, so just bear with me. But I would say if you have the Zoeva Luxe Classic Shader, you could say that this is similar. Not in terms of shape per se, but you can pack on product with this brush. You won't be able to get such a precise line with it though, but you will be able to pack on with this one. And then the other one is the Colourpop E1. Once again, not as precise as Sonia's, but in terms of packing on color, laying down color, I should say, it's quite good at doing that. But that's the comparison. So if that's the type of makeup you like to do, like, you know, just pack on some color on, you know, the outer V, blend that out, flip it over, get a shimmer shade, lay the shimmer shade down, then blend them together and you're out the door, and that's what you normally do. Or go back in and get a matte shade and work it in the crease and then work it into the lower lash line. You literally would only need this brush. Like you legit would only need one brush, and that is this one. If you are a simple one eyeshadow kind of girl and that is, and you have one palette that you normally use, it's got a couple of shimmers, you know, a whole bunch of mattes, and you just, you know, dum dum dum, and out the door, and one brush, this is your holy grail. Like this brush will do all of that. Once again, it's magical. Okay, Sonia. Girl, she did that, honestly. She really did. Okay, last brush, and I love this brush, even though it's in my last spot, something had to go last, realistically. So this brush is the Jumbo Blender, and can I just say, this brush once again is so underrated. Like I basically made it underrated. So this Soniaji Jumbo Blender is $38 US from Beautylish. It is, the Jumbo Blender is an all over base brush. It layers even the sheerest shadow, and it performs amazingly well as a fixer, which is, before even like reading about Sonia's brushes and her blog and I saw this and I instantly thought, oh my god, fixer. Like, and a really effective fixer for that matter. So I don't know if I've shown you guys up close, but look how fat that is. Like it's so dense yet so soft. If you make a mistake, this will just erase. Like it will basically, if you put down too much pigment and you've gone overboard and you want to tone it down, you grab the Jumbo Blender and you just wiggle around maybe 5 times, and it like cuts back on the pigment by like more than half, like it fades quite a bit. It's definitely a fixer without doubt. If that was her aim, tick. So this brush has extreme blending and polishing capabilities. It can fix an uneven application instantly, like so quick. The ferrule is flat and oval and the tip is slightly rounded. This is to give the most adequate shape and size for sufficient precision and versatility. Versatile queen, yes. It can even be used to place or blend shadows in the crease area. So that's what I actually use this brush for the most, is to pack on that color. Like just like pack, pack, pack. So good. You guys will see my demo here where I literally just pack it on. So I like this brush to honestly pack on color. It packs on color beautifully, and actually quite precisely. Not as precise as the soft shader, but if you want to pack on color and then blend it down to what you want, this brush is very good for that. This brush honestly is what you make it. The only thing it can't be is like overly precise. So if you're happy just to place product in the outer V and then blend it out, or use it as a fixer, I wouldn't recommend using it in the lower lash line, though you probably could if you're wanting just one color to up and go. Her brushes, like I said, are all very versatile. So this brush is made out of brown Sakaho goat hair. Yeah. I actually also like to use this for my nose contour as well, like when I'm putting down like powder. It's an awesome shape, and because it's so good at blending and fixing, it blends shit down. Like, it blends it so well. I have 3 of these. Well, I have 3 sets of the Sky sets, and then I have an additional flat shader and mini booster. So that's just because I love this set so much, and because it's always out of stock. So I had to. I know it's a little bit greedy, but like, I can't live without these brushes, guys. Like, I haven't honestly gone back to my old brushes since I started using these brushes. It's so bad. I've neglected all of them. Like, all of them. It's so bad. Anyway, that's the last brush from Sonia. Well, actually, I'm getting ahead of myself here. Let's go into the comparisons. I've actually got 2 Fenty Beauty brushes. I'm surprised, like when I was looking for like similar brushes within my collection, Fenty Beauty, dang. So the one thing about the Jumbo Blender is that it's so dense. Like it's got so many bristles, and all my brushes apart from the Fenty Beauty brushes don't have that many hairs. Like, they're not dense at all. Like, it's really quite bizarre. So the 2 I've got is the Fenty 240. And I would use this for the same thing, packing on color and that kind of thing, and then also for fixing. Definitely not as fat, but in terms of density, it's probably the same density, it's just not as soft. And then the other one is the Fenty Beauty Eyeshadow 200 brush. Once again, not really for the shape, but for the density and how much I can pack on eyeshadow with it, which is what I'd like to use the Jumbo Blender for. This one is even skinnier. It's definitely not as dense as the Jumbo Blender. Okay, so guys, in conclusion to this video, let me just say that if you were to ever pick up 1, 2, 3, whatever, how many brushes, a set, not a set, singles from one, singles from another, you will not be disappointed. Like, these brushes are so special in that I have seen the light. I've seen what natural bristles can do. Yes, it's an investment, but these brushes, if you look after them properly, you know, wash them once a month. I like to use my Artiste color switching plate for color switching my Japanese like Soniaji brushes, because it's like a terry cloth. It's so soft. I wouldn't recommend using those traditional color switches, you know, the one that come in the tins. I think they're too coarse and too harsh for natural brushes. But go get yourself an Artiste. I mean, it's $60, it's a bit expensive, but you can buy a packet of 10 and it's like replaceable. So you just take this off and you wash. You put it in the wash. I'll just quickly show you. So you just undo it, and then that goes in the wash, and then you just replace it with, you know, one from the pack of 10 that you can buy. And that's basically how I color switch mine and, you know, change the versatility of it. So I want to do one thing, I want a different color, I just switch it out on my artiste palette, and then the brush is ready to go. Honestly, so stinking good. Also, yeah, wash them once a month. Don't wash them more often than that. Looking a bit oily there. As I was saying, wash them only once a month, no more than that. And some people say that, oh, okay, well, what if you're like acne prone and bacteria and whatnot? Natural hair brushes are naturally antimicrobial. So what that means is that you're less likely to like infect yourself or whatnot. If you're using foundation for natural hair brushes, which I'm going to be doing a video about because I've got a whole bunch of like natural hair bristled foundation brushes and concealer brushes, and I'm gonna do a whole like review on them. I find that I have to wash them more often, like every week, 2 weeks. But if I'm using the same foundation with the one brush, it's easier because I like mixing foundations between like using with the one brush. It gets a bit. But if it's the one foundation that I'm using with the one brush, I don't have that problem. Anyway, I am getting way out of tangent here. Let me get back on track. What I was trying to say is there are way more pros than cons in my opinion when it comes to natural hair brushes. I love them. I think Soniaji is probably my favorite brand. She's my favorite brand. Soniaji is my favorite brand in terms of Japanese brushes. There are other brushes out there and companies, Chikuhodo, Hakuhodo, to name a few, Wayne Goss. He does some natural hair brushes as well. I just like to make you guys understand that there's also, within the natural hair brush realm, there's also tiers in terms of quality of the natural hair brushes. There's low quality natural hair brushes, and then there's high quality natural hair brushes as well. Same with synthetics. There's high quality synthetics and there's low quality synthetic hairs. So just bear that in mind when you're doing your research about these brushes, and just be as informed as possible before making a purchase is my best advice to you, because they can get quite expensive and I don't want you to be wasting your money. You know what I mean? Anyway guys, thank you so much for like sticking around if you made it this far and like listened to all of that. You're awesome. Awesome. So awesome. Anyway, I will see you, my doves, on the next video. Take care, stay safe, all that good stuff. I love you all. Bye.